In August 2023, Travis Reyes was a U.S. Marine Corporal stationed in Darwin as part of the crew on a tilt-rotor MV-22 Osprey. He was taking part in an Australian Defence Force-run exercise. By all rights, he shouldn't be alive.
I think most of it is stubbornness. A little too stubborn to die.
The 20-year-old had trained as an observer gunner, working in the cargo hold. On the morning of August 27th, Travis's Osprey left Darwin, but didn't make it to the landing zone on nearby Melville Island. The tilt-rotor crashed in the bush. Dr. David McCreary was one of the first on the scene as part of a helicopter-based team contracted to provide medical services for the exercise.
We did a lap overhead of that, kind of through and around the smoke, and trying to see any sign of any survivors. And my first thought when I looked at it was there's no way anyone could have survived that.
3 Osprey crew members died, but 20 Marines on board survived. Dr. McCreary was lowered by winch next to the crash site.
And so arrive at the scene, and there's a couple of Marines around. There's some sitting up against trees, and there's Travis lying on the ground.
More than 2.5 years later, at home in Maryland, in the U.S., Travis still doesn't remember much.
Once we got closer to the island, I noticed that we were, overbanked a little bit, and then I grabbed on to the closest hydraulic I could, which was connected to the ramp, and that was all I remember. And then I woke up on the ground, surrounded by a bunch of people. It was very brief, and then I closed my eyes again, and then I woke up 2 months later in Texas.
Getting Travis to Texas started with a remarkable medical journey in Australia. From Darwin, Travis was transported to the Alfred Hospital in Melbourne. His left lung and spleen had been removed. He was on an extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, or ECMO machine, vital life support that cleans and pumps oxygen into the blood when the body can't. Travis didn't know any of this.
It's crazy to think that, you could be asleep for that long and miss out on all that, and so much is going on and you have no clue. It's just, for me, it's a lot to think about.
With his family at the Alfred to support him, his condition took a potentially fatal turn. An infection from tropical fungi was spreading on his face.
After hearing about the infection, that's when my optimism kind of went down. But I guess dealing with it at the time was just so hard to manage.
Dr. Bridget Devaney was told despite several surgeries, the infection couldn't be stopped.
All of his specialists have now said this is not survivable anymore. The surgeons have said they can't take any more of his face, and medically he's on maximal therapy.
Dr. Devaney's medical specialty is hyperbaric chambers. They can adjust oxygen levels and atmospheric pressure to help cells heal. She knew that could help Travis.
Yeah, it's game-changing in hyperbaric medicine. There wasn't really any other option other than to suggest it in my mind. So it still had never been done before anywhere in the world. So I somewhat tentatively sent a text message to our intensive care director at the time and the service director. What do you think about putting together a team to kind of explore this as a possibility for him? And I think I finished off with crazy idea, yes or no.
The Alfred doctors decided to give that crazy idea a shot after consulting Travis's wife Jasmine and his family. The idea was manipulating oxygen levels in the chamber could help stop the infection. It worked.
By day 4 of hyperbaric treatment, there's no visible mold on his face anymore. And over the course of his subsequent treatments, and he got 13 treatments over 15 days, over the course of that time, the tissue just became healthier and healthier and started to granulate up.
Since then, at least 2 Alfred patients have had hyperbaric treatment like Travis. and word about this medical first has spread.
We've had people reach out from all around the world to find out what we've done and how we've done it. We've published 3 papers in the Journal of Diving and Hyperbaric Medicine about Travis, about the workflows and governance and how we did it safely.
From the brink of death, after 38 days in the Alfred, Travis was ready to be airlifted back to the U.S. in a giant C-17 military transport. He was still on an ECMO machine. His trip to a U.S. Army hospital in Texas is the longest ECMO retrieval flight in history. Happy birthday to you. There was a long road ahead.
Remember when I talked about it loosening up when you walk? It's gonna help.
From his first steps to finally ringing the bell as he left hospital after 8 months of life-saving care.
I definitely believe that he would overcome it, and he's just gonna beat everything, beat the odds, and he clearly did beat the odds.
He's taken up competitive lifting, archery, and golf. His recovery has been remarkable and gratifying for the Alfred team that saved him.
It is such a privilege and an honor to stand here and speak to you today.
In late March, Travis and his wife Jasmine were virtually reunited with the many doctors and nurses at the Alfred who fought to keep him alive.
Thank you for, putting this together, and finally I can meet everybody who, saved my life.
And to have had that impact on his life at such a young age, like his whole life ahead of him, it's really special. One of the cases that I'll never forget.
There are still challenges. Travis is now legally blind. He's had a number of strokes and needs a brace on his left leg to walk. But both he and Jasmine are planning for the future that hopefully includes a trip to Melbourne to say thanks in person.
I wish I could put into words how grateful I am for them giving me my basically 7th chance of life. I'm just so grateful for them all.